Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Skyrim. Last time we cleared out the Falkreath Watchtower and moved the Companion's quest along. Today our goal is to clear out Shriekwind Bastion. It's a fairly substantial dungeon, not one of the biggest, but bigger than we've done in a while. And at the end is a very useful word wall. So, let's check out the exterior first. That's the actual entrance, but before we go in, note this staircase off to the left. If I remember right, there are 2 bird nests, maybe only one. Let's go up these stairs. And here on the left, there's a rock warbler egg you can find. Then, 2 paths, left and right. Let's go right first. Kind of lead you over to this corundum vein, so let's mine it. And now let's head up these stairs. You can find this brazier. It's got a Ancient Nord boots and Ancient Nord war axe under it. Inside, I find a honed Ancient Nord sword, a potion of ultimate healing, and an empty grand soul gem. That's a pretty good haul for random shit lying around outside a dungeon. Carry weight's 210. We'll probably need an offload or 2 during this dungeon. I know that hasn't happened in a while. Could have sworn there was another rock warbler nest somewhere. I'll keep my eyes peeled for it. I might be imagining it, but I don't think so. Let me head up this path here, even farther above the dungeon. And up here at the very top, I don't think there's anything except one of these overlooks. But there's, I believe, a novice lock, I was going to say apprentice, a novice locked chest here underneath it, so let's get that open and see what's inside. 6 gold and a potion of minor healing. Oh well, don't want to get too greedy. Sure we do. Greed is my middle name in video games. Not so much in real life. I'm gonna give one more thorough look for that other nest I was so sure was here. Yeah, guess I imagined it. Alright, let's head inside the north entrance. Now, right off the bat, we're going to be facing off with a pretty powerful vampire. I don't know if I'll be able to handle her with flames. It kind of depends which vampire rank I draw. I said there are 3 possibilities. If she's a little on the weaker side, I'll be able to kill her with flames. A little stronger, I'll have to use my sword. And if she's just too strong, I'll have to use beast form. Well, let's see how we do. Ancient vampire. It's pretty powerful. I think as long as I don't get hit with too many spells. She starts hitting me with the absorb health. I just can't keep it. Let's see if the sword is even true. I actually think I'm going to have to beast form. She never runs out of magicka. Yeah, we're gonna have to kill her with beast form. I kind of thought we would. Oh, no worries. That's what it's here for. If the game can load it. There we go. Now that's one of the places where the fact that enemy casters have infinite magicka becomes a real problem. But not for Wolfie. Alright, let's move down a little bit and do the good old 24-hour wait. Like I told you, full power beast form, that's a win button. That's all that is. Saw how he shredded her when we couldn't keep up with her damage output on anything else. As everything stacks together, she was hitting us with alternating between shock magic, which drained our magicka, frost magic, which, while it didn't hurt us very badly, kept us from using power attacks, and she just constantly had vampiric drain running, so we couldn't outpace her. Well, that's kind of how it goes when you fight vampires. We'll heal up, we'll loot the body. Definitely can't reanimate her, way too strong, so let's just move on. Start with this little room to the right. Got a kettle full of skulls, a bucket filled with gold, and an iron dagger. Chest in the back. Oh, that's pretty good. Woodcutter's axe, hide bracers, leather helmet, banded iron shield, iron boots. We're up to 240. And note also, just in this little nook, a couple of swords. 299. 301. I wonder why we didn't grab her boots the first time. Okay, this door is... I don't think it's always novice locked. I think it's leveled, but happened to draw a novice, so just break my 3 picks and then get it open. This is a dead body that she raised, a bandit outlaw, so we'll loot that. Nothing terribly exciting. Carry weight's up to 331 though. Got gold, we got gold, we got gold and a potion. Now you don't have to worry about stepping on this. It is a trap, but it's not pressure triggered. I'll grab the book out of there. Oh, and I'll torch a skeever. That'll make me feel die. We can loot his tail, reanimate him, and punch him to death. The 4th punch will kill him, but we will get our little hit of conjuration experience. See? Conjuration to 89. Good, good, good. Despite all appearances, there's actually no harvestable hanging moss in this room. Well, let's check out this altar-looking thing. A weak stamina poison, and a few ruined books. Now, here is one of the 2 places you can activate this trap. I'll just pull the chain for you so you can watch what happens. You can't really see it from here. That pillar goes up and you heard something that sounded ugly. Let's move along. Nothing in this room except that skeever we already killed, so let's head up the stairs. In one of these rooms, we're going to be attacked by a skeleton. Let's deal with that right quick. Disintegrated, so we can't reanimate them. Let's just loot them. I'm up to 388. Now in vampire dens, you'll notice these mausoleum type spaces typically have a lot of empty coffins in lieu of the draugr we would normally find in these Nord ruins. But the coffins aren't always empty. It pays to make sure you look at each one. So this is kind of the main hub of the dungeon. You can see it's arranged in tiers, with skeletons kind of tracking us all the way up. I don't have the carry weight to take out another skeleton, but I did just want to show you. Here you can see what that trap actually does if you pull this handle. Pulls you up, spears, and then down it goes. Alright, so I'm going to go offload, and then we'll come back and just start working our way up. Alright, let's head back to Whiterun now.
Whoa.
Let's go inside the house, wait 6 hours, and go visit Arcadia and Bellathor, like usual. You know, Lydia, this is my house, and I kind of resent it when you imply that it isn't.
Papa, you're back. Hey, I got you something. Hope you like it.
A dragon's tongue. That's nice. Her chest still hasn't respawned, so let's just do the 6-hour wait. Check it one more time and go take care of business.
Honored to see you again, my friend.
Divine smile on you, friend.
And since it takes so little time to check, I'll go ahead and visit Arcadia and Bellathor like I'm doing a normal offload.
Got something for just about everybody in here. What do you need? So you're interested in my potions and ingredients?
Nothing useful there. And nothing useful there. Alright. Now let's go see Bellathor.
Go cost your fancy magic some. Take a good look around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. Careful now. Trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
He's got an amulet of Stendar, which doesn't do me any good. Well, let's just sell him everything else. Alright, we'll reset him right quick, as I so often do.
Help me!
Heyo.
Every trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
One more time.
Remember, I'll give you the best deal. Help! I'm back!
Oh, I wanted him to fly into the air again.
Oh, a bit of
That was
this
fun.
and a bit of that.
Alright. And we're done. Let's head back to Shriekwind now.
And come see me at my shop.
It's kind of an interesting mix of enemies in that dungeon. It's mostly piddly little skeletons, but you'll have a vampire thrall that tends to be a pretty high-level bandit. We already killed one powerful vampire. There'll be another even stronger boss vampire, but he's actually not the end. In addition to all that stuff, when you get up near the very end of the dungeon, you actually start fighting Draugr, and you'll have a boss Draugr in front of the word wall. Although he tends to be much weaker than the vampire, because the vampire is the real boss of the dungeon. Killing him is, I think killing the vampire is what marks it cleared. But You have to get through the Draugr to get to the word wall at the very top. So here we are. We can start working our way up now. As you can see, it's tiered. We'll keep coming back to this room, just at a higher level every time. And let's just kill the skeletons. When they pop into pieces like that, you can't reanimate them, so let's just keep looting them and keep going. Working our way through here, just a few coffins to check. They're overwhelmingly likely to be empty, but sometimes, occasionally, they'll have something in them. And we arrive in this room. Let's go over here first. We got ruined books, embalming tools, linen wraps, pretty typical stuff. If we look here at the centerpiece, we got a basket full of skulls and a potion of healing. Saw something. Another potion of healing. Oh. Must have jumped off from a higher tier in order to make it down to us. And let's just get all that clutter off the center area. Over here, we've got an urn. Right here, an unlocked chest. An emerald, a couple of potions, and a chunk of gold. And here's the shoe room. One of the more bizarre features of this game, but I would guess that our vampire has a thing for keeping the shoes of all his victims. We'll keep going into this hallway, past the shoe room. We're at 251, so we're doing pretty okay. Now this room, as you can see, is loaded with harvestable hanging moss. Let's get all that. Then, this gate in front of us, pretty easy to open. Chains just back here flanking the entrance. 2 skeletons to kill here. Then let's loot them. We're up to 303. Now this room is interesting. There are several secret passages, as well as 2 gates. Let me pause for a moment. Hi everybody, apologies for that little hiccup. Let's get back to it. So you have 3 handles to work with here. I'm just going to start with the one on the lower left. That opened up this chamber. Kill and search that skeleton. Kill and search the other one. And looks like I accidentally picked the right one. So let's do the other 2 before we search that room. We'll do the lower right now. That opens up a secret chamber over here. Got an empty coffin with a leveled random armor on the ground. I got pretty unlucky there with studded Imperial. And now let's do the top one. That opens the other secret door. Another empty coffin, which has more leveled armor, and we got pretty unlucky there. Leather and steel Imperial. It's not exactly top quality. Alright, let's go into this room now. Immediately you'll notice 3 pull chains and an apprentice-locked chest. Let's get the chest open first. 25 gold and a potion. Alright, let's try the right chain. It's hard to see what that did. It sealed the gate we came in through. Well, that's silly. We want that open. Let's try the big middle chain. That controls this gate. That also doesn't do us much good. The left chain is the one that opens up the way forward. At 352's cutting it pretty close, but I'm going to keep going. Can loot at least one more enemy. Some more hanging moss here in this tunnel. And another skeleton. Loot him. We're up to 379. And here, in this hallway, see, there's an iron helmet on the ground and a few intact skeletons. I'm up to 384. Let's reanimate them and kill them with fire. Now be careful, the skeletons should clue you in that there's something dangerous in this hallway. Go to the next guy. He's got some gold and an iron dagger on the ground next to him. I can just manage to grab it. I'll give him the same treatment. Up to 386 now. You can see 2 pressure plates on the ground over there. So just be wary of them. Destruction to 43. That's what it's really about. Here we've got an iron shield. I'm just gonna bump my carry weight up to 398. This guy has 2 gold. He seems to be it for this hallway, so yeah, when we're done with him, it's time to go offload. So, the usual. Reanimate and kill with fire. And now, just to show you what these do, you can see them on both ends. They're just 2 battering ram traps that'll go off if you step on one of those plates. Well, let's hightail it out of here. This chain just operates this gate from this side in our little complicated room. Let's just hightail it out of here. I think one more offload will probably be sufficient after this one. I think including this one, we're going to have 2 trips back before the end, and then the final trip. Because there's a lot going on in here. You know, the loot's not great. It's not even good. It's not even a little good. Although I have found some really good stuff at the foot of those coffins before. We just got pretty unlucky that those bits of armor were so lackluster this time around. Anyway, let's just head back to Whiterun.
Go cast your fancy magic someplace else.
Shouldn't get a vampire attack since it was gonna let me wait. Check Lucia's chest.
Braith has a big meaning. He keeps telling Larson what to do.
Alright, we'll wait in here till 8 a.m. then visit Arcadia, then visit Bellathor. The usual. And it's 8:20. Chest is still empty, so we'll just head on out of here. Arcadia first, then Bellathor. Then back to Shriekwind Bastion. Looking for Frenzy or Resist Poison.
Let me know if you see anything you like.
Potion
What do you need?
recipes from her.
Take a look.
Nothing. Just offload whatever she'll take since we're here. And go visit
Come back
Bellathor.
anytime.
Go cast your fancy magic.
Let me know if you see anything you like. Careful now. Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
Still need the resist poison enchantment if he ever decides to sell it. Sell off all the shoes we found. And we'll reset him before we sell that emerald.
Do come back. What do you think you're doing? Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
I keep checking for goat horns, even though I've pretty long since established he's not going to sell them.
The best deal.
Alright, back again. So in case my rambling wasn't clear, I suspect we're going to need one more mid-dungeon offload before we finish. It's possible we'll need two, but I don't think so. Let's just head through here. Still hear more skellies on the higher levels, which we will reach very soon. Here's where we left off, the end of this tunnel, which is back in the main room, but one tier higher than we were before. Well, there should be... Oh yeah, one skeleton fell off and got here before he was supposed to. And there's another one down at the end of this tier. Quickly eliminate. And move right along into a new tunnel. Now, in this next room, there's a vampire's thrall, which tends to be a pretty high-level bandit, like a plunderer or a marauder level. He's pretty good. See, their heavy armor went to 89. I can nab all his stuff. Heal up. And I'll wait a minute and try to reanimate him. I don't think it'll work. But while that's going, let's search this room. Have a burnt corpse in a cage up here, which you can get to it. It's just confusing where. Come on, take that gold. There you go. Just notice this chain. This is a fully functioning torture room. A rough way to go, my friend. Yeah, too powerful, like I thought. Well, you got a couple of racks over here. Up by this throne, this is important, they usually get knocked around in the fight, starting on the floor on either side, but knocked over to here now. A flawless ruby and a ruby. Don't miss those. For whatever reason, you can open and close the shackles. Let's move up here. Chair in front of a fireplace ashes. A little bit creepy. Now, before taking this stairway, there's some good stuff in here as is, or not really. there can be some good stuff in here. I got shitty gear with a shitty enchantment to boot. But what you need to spot is this chain to the left of the door. Pull that and a secret door opens up, which takes you down this tunnel, which takes you to an exit from the dungeon. This is the other entrance, the South Shriekwind Bastion location, which we should immediately get on our map when we exit. But don't just get the location and walk back in. There's a little bit to do out here. You can see we're overlooking the town of Falkreath, which we're very close to getting to. Oh, we got a Draugr here. Piddly little level 1. Easily annihilated. And then we'll reanimate him and kill him with fire, as we like to do. His coffin's supposed to pop open. I don't know why he was standing in front of it. Oh. Well, I guess we won't kill him. We got the conjuration experience because he was fighting the skeleton. But now we can kill him with fire for ourselves. And still get a little boost of destruction experience as well. Groovy. Alright. What's my carry weight? 310. Well, that done, let's head down here. Let's check out straight ahead first, and then pinch back behind me. If you head up these stairs, there's another sarcophagus that should pop with a Draugr inside. It's a white. A little more powerful, but it shouldn't be anything I can't handle. Electing to run away. Only he knows why. Maybe keep approaching him. Oh, it looks like we're going to be randomly attacked by a troll in the bargain. Well, that's fine too. A little more heavy armor. Trolls go down so fast. No problem at all. Ow. Alright. We got troll fat. Oh, he ran away because he was completely unarmed. That actually makes sense. 326 is pretty hefty, but you can see this is the south entrance. This is where this is where A road meets up with South Shriekwind Bastion, so you can approach the dungeon this way, but I consider the way we came in the sort of main entrance. Anyway, a white is a low enough level that we can reanimate him, so let's wait a minute and do that. Okay, we're going to get to Falkreath pretty soon. There's just one location left between Shriekwind Bastion and there. Most of you seem to like the Whiterun videos, so I guess I don't need to apologize for tedium or anything, but Falkreath is much smaller. It's between Riverwood and Whiterun in size, but I think it'll be the fastest one I've done so far, just because I have substantially less I'm looking to accomplish. Saw Snowberry. I think that was the only... oh, and another one. I mean, those are the only plants I spotted, so let's pinch back in here now. Check out the rest of this exterior. And then now is a pretty darn good time to go ahead and offload, because we're outside anyway. But let's explore over here. I think we've killed everything. There shouldn't be anything left to fight. But this little structure just has some unlit candles in it. What's really of interest is this unlocked chest over here. Well, I'm not gonna leave quite yet. 74 pounds. I could kill probably 2 more enemies unless they were decked out in heavy armor. Well, let's head back inside. Just don't miss that, because you can find some pretty good stuff out there, if you get luckier with the chest than I did. This has not been a lucky dungeon for me so far. Everything's kind of sucked. But maybe it'll get better. And nothing in these tunnels, so just kind of keep on going. Keep on steadily working our way toward the top. This is going to spit us out on the top level with probably 2 more sections. Just kill them and search them. Up to 339. You can see we are at the top level, just one more tunnel to go. You can get up here, but there's nothing, so don't worry too much about exploring over there. Oh, looks like there was only one skeleton. Well, that means we're going to kill the boss. Now you see this handle here, but notice all the charred corpses. Let's loot the corpses right quick. Gold and bone meal is typically all you find. And notice these flamethrowers everywhere. If we hit that handle, those flamethrowers activate, and the gate opens. But what's much easier is to spot this pull chain. Gate opens, flamethrowers don't turn on. Now behind this door is the boss vampire. I'm gonna try flames and the sword, but we will probably have to go ahead. Nightmaster. Yeah, no, I'm gonna quick load. I'm gonna beast form before I even go in. Oops. Wrong power. He is way too powerful for my piddly spell sword. He's substantially stronger than the one downstairs was, and she was too strong. We'll kill him this way. Ooh, werewolf kill cam. I think that's the first one we've gotten. It's pretty neat. I like that one. Well, let's... Really? I'm being asked to leave, so I can't wait? That's ridiculous. Well, I guess I'll just have to wait for the beast form to wear off naturally. I can't believe we're being asked to leave. How ridiculous. Well, I can't look at the map, but I noticed that did not serve to clear the dungeon. I guess the boss Draugr at the word wall is what will do that for us. I guess I'm not even going to do another offload. I think I'll probably be over encumbered by looting the last fight with the boss Draugr, but that's okay. I have a horse. And this dungeon is particularly easy to take a shortcut out because we can just jump down a tier. One at a time. We'll take a little damage, but not too much. I guess we just need to wait for beast form to wear off. Whee! Whee! Come on now. As if I'm in someone's house. How ridiculous. Oh, silly glitches. It'll wear off eventually, I promise. Let's see what different attacks he does. Power attack while sprinting. Power attack while running forward. Power attack while running backward. Sideways. Standing. Those are all pretty fun. Come on now. I had no idea it lasted this long without any feedings. There we go. Alright, let's put our armor back on. Heal that little bit of damage. Get flames back on. Alright, let's loot this room. Start with the Nightmaster Vampire. Nothing too great, but those are the strongest vampires in the game, except maybe, you know, unique ones. He's level... Nightmasters are level 65. And here's a book, 2920 Second Seed V5. It's a speech skill book that I haven't read yet, so... Good old book list. Skill book speech. Take that one off. Then I'll jog over to free skill boosts. I had 8 left, so that's down to 7. 3 skill books, 2 quests, and 2 special ones. Second Seed, Book 5 of 2920, The Last Year of the First Era, by Karlovac Townway. 10 Second Seed, 2920, The Imperial City, Cyrodiil. Your Imperial Majesty, said the potentate Versaduce, opening the door to his chamber with a smile. I have not seen you lately. I thought perhaps you were indisposed with the lovely Regia. She's taking the baths at Mir Corrup, the Emperor Reuben III said miserably. Please, come in. I've reached the stage where I can only trust 3 people. You, my son the prince, and Regia, said the Emperor petulantly. My entire council is nothing but a pack of spies. What seems to be the matter, your Imperial Majesty? Asked the potentate Versaduce sympathetically, drawing closed the thick curtain in his chamber. Instantly all sound outside the room was extinguished, echoing footsteps in the marble halls and birds in the springtide gardens. I've discovered that a notorious poisoner, an Orma tribeswoman from Black Marsh called Kachika, was with the army at Caer Suvio while we were encamped there when my son was poisoned before the battle at Bodrum. I'm sure she would have preferred to kill me, but the opportunity didn't present itself, the Emperor fumed. The Council suggests that we need evidence of her involvement before we prosecute. Of course they would, said the potentate thoughtfully, particularly if one of the or more of them was in on the plot. I have a thought, your Imperial Majesty. Yes, said Riemann impatiently. Out with it. Tell the Council you're dropping the matter, and I will send out the guard to track this Kachika down and follow her. We will see who her friends are, and perhaps get an idea of the scope of this plot on your Imperial Majesty's life. Yes, said Riemann with a satisfied frown. That's a capital plan. We will track this scheme to whomever it leads to. Decidedly, your Imperial Majesty, smiled the potentate, parting the curtain so the Emperor could leave. In the hallway outside was Versaduce's son, Severian Chorak. The boy bowed to the Emperor before entering the potentate's chamber. Are you in trouble, father? Whispered the Akaviri lad. I heard the Emperor found out about what's-her-name, the poisoner. The great art of speechcraft, my boy, said Versaduce to his son, is to tell them what they want to hear in a way that gets them to do what you want them to do. I need you to get a letter to Kachika and make certain that she understands that if she does not follow the instructions perfectly, she is risking her own life more than ours. 13 Second Seed, 2920, Mir Corrup, Cyrodiil. Regia sank luxuriantly into the burbling hot spring, feeling her skin tingle like it was being rubbed by millions of little stones. The rock shelf over her head sheltered her from the misting rain, but let all the sunshine in, streaming in layers through the branches of the trees. It was an idyllic moment in an idyllic life, and when she was finished, she knew that her beauty would be entirely restored. The only thing she needed was a drink of water. The bath itself, while wonderfully fragrant, tasted always of chalk. Water, she cried to her servants. Water, please. A gaunt woman with rags tied over her eyes ran to her side and dropped a goatskin of water. Regia was about to laugh at the woman's prudery. She herself was not ashamed of her naked body. But then she noticed through a crease in the rags that the old woman had no eyes at all. She was like one of those Orma tribesmen Regia had heard about, but never met. Born without eyes, they were masters of their other senses. The Lord of Mir Corrup hired very exotic servants, she thought to herself. In a moment, the woman was gone and forgotten. Regia found it very hard to concentrate on anything but the sun and the water. She opened the cork, but the liquid within had a strange metallic smell to it. Suddenly she was aware that she was not alone. Lady Regia, said the captain of the Imperial Guard, you are, I see, acquainted with Kachika? I've never heard of her, stammered Regia before becoming indignant. What are you doing here? This body is not for your leering eyes. Never heard of her. We saw her with you not a minute ago, said the captain, picking up the goatskin and smelling it. Brought you Navis Ichor, did she? To poison the Emperor with? Captain, said one of the guards, running up to him quickly. We cannot find the Argonian. It is as if she disappeared into the woods. Yes, they're good at that, said the captain. No matter, though. We've got her contact at court. That should please His Imperial Majesty. Seize her. As the guards pulled the writhing, naked woman from the pool, she screamed, I'm innocent. I don't know what this is all about, but I've done nothing. The Emperor will have your heads for this. Yes, I imagine he will, smiled the captain, if he trusts you. 21 Second Seed, 2920, Gideon, Black Marsh. The Sow and Vulture Tavern was the sort of out-of-the-way place that Zook favored for these sorts of interviews. Besides himself and his companion, there were only a couple of old sea dogs in the shadowy room, and they were more unconscious from drink than aware. The grime of the unwashed floor was something you felt rather than saw. Copious dust hung in the air unmoving in the sparse rays of dying sunlight. You have experience in heavy combat? Asked Zook. The reward is good for this assignment, but the risks are great as well. Certainly I have combat experience, replied Miramore haughtily. I was at the Battle of Bodrum just 2 months ago. If you do your part and get the Emperor to ride through Dorsa Pass with a minimal escort on the day and the time we've discussed, I'll do my part. Just be certain that he's not traveling in disguise. I'm not going to slaughter every caravan that passes through in the hopes that it contains Emperor Riemann. Zook smiled, and Miramore looked at himself in the Kothringi's reflective face. He liked the way he looked, the consummate, confident professional. Agreed, said Zook, and then you shall have the rest of your gold. Zook placed the large chest onto the table between them. He stood up. Wait a few minutes before leaving, said Zook. I don't want you following me. Your employers wish to maintain their anonymity, if by chance you are caught and tortured. Fine by me, said Miramore, ordering more grog. Zook rode his mount through the cramped labyrinthine streets of Gideon, and both he and his horse were happy to pass through the gates into the country. The main road to Castle Jayavis was flooded, as it was every year in springtide, but Zook knew a shorter way over the hills. Riding fast under trees drooping with moss and treacherous slime-coated rocks, he arrived at the castle gates in 2 hours' time. He wasted no time in climbing to Tavia's cell at the top of the highest tower. What did you think of him? Asked the Empress. He's a fool, replied Zook, but that's what we want for this sort of assignment. 32nd Seed, 2920, Thurzo Fortress, Cyrodiil. Regis screamed and screamed and screamed. Within her cell, her only audience was the giant gray stones, crusted with moss but still sturdy. The guards outside were deaf to her as they were deaf to all prisoners. The Emperor, miles away in the imperial city, had likewise been deaf to her cries of innocence. She screamed, knowing well that no one would likely hear her ever again. 31 Second Seed, 2920, Cavus Rim Pass, Cyrodiil. It had been days, weeks, since Turala had seen another human face, Cyrodiil or Dunmer. As she trod the road, she thought to herself how strange it was that such an uninhabited place as Cyrodiil had become the imperial province, seat of an empire. Even the Bosmer and Valenwood must have more populated forests than this heartland would. She thought back. Was it a month ago, 2, when she crossed the border from Morrowind into Cyrodiil? It had been much colder then, but other than that she had no sense of time. The guards had been brusque, but as she was carrying no weaponry, they elected to let her through. Since then she had seen a few caravans, even shared a meal with some adventurers camping for the night, but met no one who would give her a ride to a town. Turala stripped off her shawl and dragged it behind her. For a moment she thought she heard someone behind her and spun around. No one was there, just a bird perched on a branch making a sound like laughter. She walked on and then stopped. Something was happening. The child had been kicking in her belly for some time now, but this was a different kind of spasm. With a groan, she lurched over to the side of the path, collapsing into the grass. Her child was coming. She lay on her back and pushed, but she could barely see with her tears of pain and frustration. How had it come to this? Giving birth in the wilderness, all by herself, to a child whose father was the Duke of Mournhold. Her scream of rage and agony shook the birds from the trees. The bird that had been laughing at her earlier flew down to the road. She blinked, and the bird was gone, and in its place a naked elf man stood, not as dark as a Dunmer, but not as pale as the Altmer. She knew at once it was an Ayleid, a wild elf. Turala screamed, but the man held her down. After a few minutes of struggle, she felt a release and then fainted away. When she awoke, it was to the sound of a baby crying. The child had been cleaned and was lying by her side. Turala picked up her baby girl, and for the first time that year felt tears of happiness stream down her face. She whispered to the trees, "Thank you," and began walking with Babe in her arms down the road to the west. The year is continued in mid-year. Oh, and there we go. So, 358, we're doing okay. So let's head up here now. In this room, if I remember correctly, we will have, I think, 4 searchable burial urns. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. We have the boss chest, which is pretty mediocre, just like the rest of this dungeon's loot has been. But it's not over yet. Let's head up this staircase here. Up here to the top. Now you can see potions on pedestals, kind of flanking the walkway. And the boss Draugr, and the word wall. That's it. Scourge is fairly powerful. You know, well, he's only 1 level up to that. He seemed to be outpacing himself. Okay. It's street fight. Just stare down. Rank in Destruction to 44. Loot him. He's too powerful to reanimate, so I'll heal. And that's truly it. There's no more loot to find, but do not miss this word of power. It's the first word of Elemental Fury, Air. Elemental Fury is a pretty damn good shout as long as you're using an unenchanted weapon. Basically lets you strike really fast with any unenchanted melee weapon. So I'm going to unlock that. The boom imbues your arms with the speed of wind, allowing for faster weapon strikes. Now, because we're lore junkies, let's make sure that we note what the inscription says. The inscription containing the word of power Air reads as follows: "Here lies Fjoldmod foul Air, who stank as much on earth as his body does now in the ground." That's actually kind of funny. And we're done. We've cleared the place out. So if you pop out this top door, you arrive at a place called Shriekwind Overlook. Not really much to it, just one of these overlooks. You'll notice we're back on the north side. You can see the Falkreath Tower down below us, and Falkreath itself down there to our left. For my purposes, it's time to travel back to Whiterun and offload.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
12:45. So we have an 8-hour wait.
You lost?
No problem. As usual, we need to check Lucia's chest, and this time it has respawned. We'll just see if there's anything in here that's not vendor trash. There is not. Well, let's do the 48 or the 8-hour wait. Oops. I think we actually only need to wait one more hour. 7:58. They should be open by the time we get up there. as usual,
Got something for just about everybody.
let's start here with Arcadia.
What do you need? Take a look.
See if she has anything exotic. Probably not.
Come
And
back
let's go to
anytime if you
Bellathor.
need a remedy.
Go cast your fancy magic someplace.
Take a good look around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
Okay, so he actually hasn't reset from our last offload. That's okay. We haven't really found anything that valuable. It's sad but true. Oh well, we're still above what he can afford. I guess that's good. Alright, well,
Do
let's
come
reset
back.
him. And see if maybe
What do you think you're doing?
resets to something that's useful to us.
I'd take a look.
I'm using the term useful very loosely now. Except for divine amulets. Still need amulets of RK and amulets of Debella, but... Alright,
Remember,
we're all set. Don't fast travel to either Shriekwind Bastion. We want to... Oh, I almost forgot to note that Shriekwind Bastion is cleared now. We got that lovely chime when we killed the boss stronger. What we really want to do is fast travel back to the Falkreath Watchtower. Now we're going to make our way south into Falkreath itself. There's just one location left between us and it. Remember that turn in the road I pointed out earlier that I said would lead to Falkreath? I'm going to position myself there and save it in the video. Oh. Skeever wants to play. Okay. I'm down. Of course, we need to reanimate him. Those are the rules. The hell, I can carry his body with me and keep going. He's that light. Whee! Okay, we can reanimate him now. One, two, three, four. Well, here's a mountain flower I must have missed on my first trip. And here we are. This road eventually takes us to Falkreath. Our next target is a little spot called the Roadside Ruins. I will take you there next time. Until then, thank you very much for watching Let's Play Skyrim, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.